Michigan on top of Penn State, 44-43. Just over 11:30 left in this one at the Bryce Jordan Center. Brandon Pelter with Tom Shively. And Tom, early second half, Michigan couldn't find a bucket, scoreless for nearly 4.5 minutes. Penn State went on a 10-0 run to take the lead, but now this one's tight.
And they say the three-pointer is the great equalizer. It's amazing what a couple of wide-open shots can do. Wagner knocks down two huge threes in a time that Michigan really needed them. They're down to one timeout. Like you mentioned, they've been on the wrong end of a 10-0 run, and he kind of settles the Wolverines down. And we see them being more aggressive off of that. We see Robinson, a guy that usually pulls up from three, takes it to the basket, not afraid to be aggressive. We see Simpson jostling for rebounds in the paint around four Penn Staters. It's just those hustle plays. Then when you start to see shots go down, you start to be a little bit more prone to doing that because you're more comfortable. You feel better about yourself.
And I think the Wolverines realize Penn State inside does not have what they usually have. Mike Watkins has not been seen since about the 4-minute mark into this first half. And he's in the locker room right now. He's not even on the bench.
And even their second best big man, Moore, has 3 fouls. There's been kind of a hybrid mix of Hera and Pierce, who Wagner has a clear advantage over both of those players. And he's shown it so far.
So Duncan Robinson at the line for 2 free throw shots. Fouled after collecting the offensive board and going back up with it. Penn State 16 fouls, the Wolverines 4. Nittany Lions have 3 timeouts. Michigan just 1. Robinson, 94% free throw shooter, sinks the first as expected, and now a 2-point lead for Michigan.
His first point of the second half there. Had a dozen in the first half. Maybe that gets him going on the offensive end, seeing it go through the basket.
Second one is up, and that falls as well. So a 3-point lead for Michigan, 46-43 over Penn State. And 11:30 left to play in this second half. Josh Reeves, right wing. Outlets to Naz Bostic, top of the key. Reeves and Bostic play catch. Here's Carr now on the left wing. Back to Reeves, looking inside. Satchel Pierce, right elbow. Pierce pops with it. Elbows out, and it's picked up by the Wolverines. Duncan Robinson collects the board.
Yeah, Pierce was wide open at the foul line, extended, and you can tell why he was wide open, as he does not have much of a jump shot. Makes his money in the paint.
Jerron Simmons, right wing, passes inside for Teske, denied by Pierce. Ball on the hardwood, and Stevens picks it up. He's fouled by Charles Matthews, and it's Penn State basketball, trailing by 3 with 10:52 to go.
Yeah, 5 team fouls on the Wolverines and already 6 on Penn State, so this is going to be one of those heavy free throw games down the stretch, and we'll see if Penn State can knock them down. They've had trouble with that in the past, but a great play on the defensive end there by Hera and Stevens.
Penn State from the charity stripe, shooting just under 70%. Michigan right around 65%. Nittany Lions trail it by 3 here. Right wing Reeves. Inside for Stevens, just below the free throw line. Back out to Reeves. Right wing, nothing but net for Josh Reeves. This one's tied up at 46. 10:30 left to play. Duncan Robinson out to Teske. Now it's Matthews left wing. Abdur Rahman, top of the key, pops for 3, and he sinks it as well, crawling over the rim. And 49-46, the 17th-ranked Wolverines collect the lead once again.
Yeah, Michigan 3 for 5, Penn State 3 for 3. So both teams, if this turns into a 3-point shootout, it's going to be interesting.
Naz Bostic, baseline far side driving, denied by Teske, and it's taken away. Here come the Wolverines. Under 10 left to play. They lead it by 3. Simmons driving, kicks corner, Robinson far side, and a double dribble on Duncan Robinson, and John Beilein fired up, talking to Gene Steratore. It's Penn State basketball on the turnover.
That's a tough situation for Robinson, as Beilein has a right to be upset. It's hard to say that he double dribbled, but the feed just doesn't put him in a good position. He's trapped there on the baseline, has to lunge out to try and save that ball from going out of bounds, and he ends up getting both hands on it, and Beilein rightfully upset. I think he's more upset with the pass than with the actual call, though.
9:51 left to play. 17th ranked Michigan leads unranked Penn State 49-46. Penn State looking for their second win over a top 25 opponent in the last 3 games. Tony Carr driving into the paint. He's denied, but a foul is called on the floor. Penn State will keep possession with 9:34 left. Abdur Rahman collects the foul, his second, and now both teams with 6 team fouls, still 9:34 left in this game.
Something to watch out. Penn State shooting free throws the rest of the way, as is Michigan.
Tony Carr out at the top. Just 10 seconds left to shoot. Starts to drive, now backs out. Carr crosses over into the lane. Carr driving. He's denied, but Hera with the offensive rebound with 3. Hera banks it in off the glass. Penn State cuts the deficit to 1, 49-48. Michigan ahead, 9:05 left to play.
Talk about unexpected production. John Hera, a guy that averages less than 2 points a game.
Poole pops with it. He shoots it short, deflects out to Reeves, and Penn State with the basketball. Lob it forward. Shep Garner all alone, far corner, and he hits that one short off the iron. The Wolverines rebound. Less than 9 to play. And Michigan slows this game back down. They lead it by 1. Penn State fighting for a shot at the big dance. Matthews driving left side, kicks to Robinson right wing, who pops, and an air ball from Duncan Robinson, who in this second half only has 2 points after a 12-point first half. It's Penn State basketball, and the Bryce Jordan Center will let Robinson hear it. It's a 15-point lead for the Nittany Lions here with 5:13 left to go in the third quarter. Trace McSorley capped off an 80-yard drive with a 13-yard scamper into the end zone, dove across the far side pylon, giving Penn State another touchdown. And Ryan, this Penn State offense really has eviscerated the Wolverines defense. 382 yards of offense for the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, they have really taken it to this Michigan defense that coming into the game had given up on average the fewest yards per game to opposing offenses. And really a lot of people question, was Penn State be able to do it against a top level defense in their first real big matchup of the season? Well, they answered a lot of those doubts so far here today, really having a field day on the offensive end.
The Nittany Lions kicking left to right with a 15-point lead here. Just over 5 minutes to play in the third quarter, and Crawford and Wilson are split on each side of the end zone to our right. Davis steps up, right leg swings forward and kicks it through the near side. Wilson collects it at the 9, inside the numbers. Now cuts back and toward the middle of the field. Wilson across the 15, now 20, and he's dropped just inside the 20-yard line, right about the 19 or so, and that's where the Wolverines will start out this drive with 5:06 to play. If you love our coverage on the radio, be sure to check out our Twitter account. You can visit our Twitter, that's at PSU Com Radio, at our Twitter page, or visit us at our webpage, psucomradio.com. That Com Radio with 2 M's, again, psucomradio.com. 5:06 left to play, and it's 1st and 10. The Wolverines from their own 20 with O'Korn under center, a single setback, and a tight formation here with 2 wide receivers on both sides. O'Korn back to pass, throws left. Peoples-Jones has it at the 30-yard line. Spun around, still on his feet, cuts back toward the middle of the field, and he's dragged down at the 36-yard line. Koa Farmer made the stop.
Great play by Michigan, getting a quick little curl route there just past the first down marker. Peoples-Jones turned a split second before the ball arrived to him. That's the perfect way to do it. Exactly how you get that done.
Gain of 16 on first down brings up another first. And the Wolverines to the 36. O'Korn from the gun. Now is chased right, now left in the pocket. Scrambling around near the 25 or hurl it toward the far sideline and out of bounds. Wide receiver went up for the catch. Believe it was Grant Perry. Got a hand on it, but not much more than that, and incomplete. That brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and that was darn near a coverage sack there by the Nittany Lions, doing a great job at eliminating every single option O'Korn had. It looked like he was going for a quick route on the sideline to start it off on maybe a slant or a screen. That was shut down immediately, and Penn State really did a great job, both in the secondary and on the front line, causing pressure and forcing him to make that throw.
O'Korn in the gun with the back on the right hip. That's Ty Isaac on 2nd and 10. The Wolverines on their 36. Handoff up the gut. Here's Isaac. He gains a few out to the 40-yard line. And a gain of 4 brings up 3rd and 6. So medium, maybe manageable here for this Wolverine team. They're 3 of 9 on 3rd down tonight.
Yeah, so far they need to get better at 3rd down if they want to win this game, because so far their offense hasn't been big plays. They've been just working chunk yardage at a time. They're going to face a lot more 3rd downs in this ball game. No better time to start being able to convert them. And
that's right around the season average of a 32% conversion rate. Here's O'Korn in the shotgun with Isaac on the left hip. 2 wide receivers far side, 1 near. O'Korn back to pass, standing on the 30-yard line. He's pressured and dropped. Manny Bowen and Jason Kabinda combined for the sack. John O'Korn down at the 29-yard line.
And once again, pretty much the same thing, a coverage sack, and where O'Korn had a ton of time sitting back there. He had about a good 5-6 seconds. That should be plenty of time for anyone to find a receiver down the field. He couldn't, because the Penn State defense was blanketing every option he had, and eventually the rush got to him, and they made the big play.
O'Korn loses 7, so it's 4th and 17. Ball in the Wolverines' 29, and Brad Robbins sends a wobbly spiral to DeAndre Tompkins, who extends the right hand and makes the catch on the far side hash at the 32-yard line. A punt of 37 yards, and Penn State has about 68 to go here toward the other goal line. They'll try to do it when we return on the other side of the break. 3:02 left to play in the 3rd quarter, and a 15-point lead for the Nittany Lions, 28-13. You're listening to coverage of Penn State Nittany Lion football on Com Radio. First pitch just moments away at Eldridge Park between the YD Red Sox and the Orleans Firebirds. Now, let's meet tonight's starting pitchers for the Firebirds. It'll be Ryan Rollison starting things off. He takes a 1.86 ERA into his 5th start of the season, and he's clearly been dominant.
He sure has. He even pitched an inning in the All-Star game for the Eastern Division. Picked up the victory as well, going 1 perfect inning with a strikeout. And it'll be the first time that these YD Red Sox see him this year. Through 5 starts, he's been exceptional. And one of the better hurlers out of this Firebirds pitching staff. And that's saying a lot, considering how many guys they can throw to the bump and know you're going to get an exceptional outing out of them.
Firebirds take a 2.81 ERA as a team into tonight's matchup. That's good for first overall in the entire Cape League, and he will face off with Josh McMinn for the YD Red Sox. But let's first talk about, before first pitch here coming up in just a couple moments, Ryan Rollison taking his warm-up tosses out on the mound. Let's talk about the significance of tonight's game. 3 points separate these two teams. 8 games left in the regular season. Both have clinched a playoff spot. How much do you put, importance-wise, on this matchup?
Well, I think it's huge. When you think about the playoff structure where in the Eastern Division Finals or even in the first round, you're playing best of 3 series. Whatever you say, in my opinion, I do think home field plays a factor. Obviously, especially with how hardy and well shown these fans are down here on the Cape. I think it's a huge difference if you're playing a deciding game, a Game 3 at your home ballpark. Also, if you think about it, it's bragging rights as well. If the Red Sox were to take the season series 5-1 over the best team in the Cape, that says something. And that's something that you think about if these two were to meet up in the postseason.
And Connor Kaiser now trotting up to the right-handed batter's box for the YD Red Sox, just about ready to kick off tonight's game. First pitch coming here just a few moments. Rollison at the back of the bump. Kaiser making just his 2nd start in this leadoff spot for the YD Red Sox, but in his first try, he was a home run shy of the cycle. Certainly a reason to trot him back out there hitting 1. Rollison, the left-hander, winds and deals, delivers the first pitch, fouled back by Kaiser, and we're underway at Eldridge Park. The first pitch coming at 7:02 on this Thursday evening.
And he looked really comfortable in that leadoff spot a couple of days ago, so no surprise that Pick has thrown him right back in it.
Rain is held off thus far. Here's the 0-1. Called a strike on the inner third. It's Joe Peters calling the balls and strikes. At first base is Mark Pantadosi, and the third base umpire between second and third is Frank Auditori. Rollison from the first base side of the rubber. begins his wind. The left-hander deals the 0-2, fouled back into the screen behind home plate. Raindrops falling in, but not many here at the ballpark. Scattered so far. Here's the 0-2 from Rollison. Breaking ball dips low. That misses. So 1-2 on the leadoff man, Connor Kaiser, in the top of the first inning at Eldridge Park for tonight's matchup between the Red Sox and Firebirds. 1-2 delivery. Breaking ball called strike 3. Kaiser goes down looking as a quick word for Joe Peters and is on his way back to the third base side dugout.
And that was a great pitch there. A perfect way to get the strikeout is that just nabbed the inside corner. And the previous 2 strikes that he'd recorded against Kaiser were via the heat. So he took a little something off that. Good way to start the game.
There's Kyle Isbell hitting .250, the left-handed hitter. So lefty-on-lefty matchup here with one away in the top of the first. The first pitch swung on and driven out to left field. Back is Steven Scott, and he'll make the catch. Camping under there for the second out. Let's meet the defensive alignment for the Orleans Firebirds in the outfield from left to right. It's Steven Scott, Jimmy Herons in center field, and Nico Decolati in right field. And on the infield from left to right, the third baseman is Romy Gonzalez. Jeff Hotby is the shortstop. Ethan Paul is at second base, and Steve Passatempo gets the start at first. Cesar Salazar is behind the plate, catching tonight for Rollison. Here's Nico Horner batting 3. The first pitch, a called strike. And what do you think about Horner dropping to this third spot from the leadoff man? I mean, he has 6 home runs, so I certainly understand it.
I don't think it's more than anything with just experimenting with what he's got.
0-1, cut on and missed, a high fastball, and Horner is behind in the count.
I mean, when you have versatile players like Coach Pickler does, he's going to see an experiment up and down the lineup here in the regular season. So come postseason time, he's set.
The 0-2 from Rollison, swung on 2 hops to the third baseman. Gonzalez backhands, long throw to first in time to retire Nico Horner, and the Red Sox go down in order in the top of the first to the home half. In the bottom of the first inning, the Orleans Firebirds stepping to the plate. No score at Eldridge Park. You're listening to YD Red Sox baseball on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Welcome to another episode of the Com Radio NFL Draft Show. I'm your host, Brandon Pelter. With the draft less than a month away, teams continue to hone in on their top prospects and work the free agent market. Topping this week's news, the Raiders released punter Marquette King. Oakland dropped the 29-year-old after a 5-year stint with the team. King was a second-team All-Pro in 2016 and is regarded as one of the top punters in the league. The veteran isn't in any rush to sign with the team, and according to the Pioneer Press, King plans to sign by the time the draft comes around. The New York Giants continue to feel out a possible trade of their top wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. While OBJ's on-field production has made him one of the league's top wideouts, his off-field woes continue. Beckham is looking to be the highest-paid wide receiver in the league and says he won't play in 2018 without a new contract, while the Giants are asking for at least 1 first-round pick in a trade. During the NFL owners' meeting, the competition committee clarified the highly debated catch rule. The owners unanimously ratified the revised rule, which defines a football move as a third step, reaching or extending for the line to gain, or the ability to perform such an act in addition to having control and 2 feet down or another body part. The committee also added a targeting rule similar to college football. Under the new rule, if a player lowers his head to initiate and make contact with his helmet against an opponent, he'll be flagged for a personal foul. The rule also includes the possibility of an ejection and applies to any player anywhere on the field. That means it could be a running back trying to plow over a would-be tackler or a linebacker closing in on a tackle. The new rule has been met with harsh criticism from current and former players, while former Vice President of Officiating Mike Pereira says he thinks the rule will be impossible to officiate. That's the latest news from around the league. Now we welcome Ryan Birdie and Mitch Stewart to the desk to take a look at the Big 12.